All right, so now that we've got this, I think we're ready to start putting some of this stuff together. So we've got clouds, we've got our house, we've got our original text animation, we've got a few things going on. And remember, this is a way of doing it. Okay, so let's start by making a composition the size that we need it to be. Um, so I'm gonna make a new composition. Let's call this one movie one. And no, I don't want it the same size as that. I want to make it HDTV 1080 1920 by 1080, 29.97 seconds uh, frames per second. Full resolution for now. Let's keep it at 113. We'll expand it as we need to. And I think we're all good. So this is the right resolution. I can look at my title safe area so I can see what I need to fit, and let's start pulling in the things we want. So I'm going to pull in the house, and let's press S and scale that down to what I think I'm going to be using. Let's go here and fit it to the screen. So basically, how big do I want this to be? And there might be a time that I go in and I start to tweak this a little bit. And I might also add a little glow to this. So we can, you know what? I should add that inside of there. Never mind, there's another way of doing it beyond this. So I'm just going to Z out of that. So we'll deal with you a little bit later. So I'm going to take this and say, all right, yeah, I'm going to want it right there. I'm going to go back to my project, bring in my clouds. Lift them up. I'm going to lower their opacity. T. It's kind of cool. And now I'm going to, I still want to do something with, that's weird. Let's go back into those clouds. What are you missing? Oh, that's what we're doing wrong. Let's go back into their movie. I don't want the clouds. I want the final clouds. That up. And I can adjust them inside of here. So let's do a few things to this thing. Because it's a little too big for what I want. For one, I am going to drop down the opacity a bit. So it's little, it's not overpowering. I don't want to overpower the creepy house. I just want it to be more of like a ghostly atmosphere. I can even take these and just down Alt and even do some stretching if I wanted to. So you're not limited. You can do a lot, as you can see. And I still want to get it so a little bit more like as a vignette or not, it's more focused above the house. So let's do something like with that cloud. Let's do, let's make a solid. And sure, we'll just call this one cloud mask. Okay. So I made a solid. It's between the clouds and the house. That's why we don't see the clouds anymore. And what I want to do with this guy is I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a gradient ramp to this. So we get this. Now I want to use this as a mask for my clouds. So here's my gradient ramp and I'm just opening it up on that solid I created. And instead of linear, let's say I want this to be radial and I want to reverse it. So it's like this. So the idea is I'm going to see the clouds mostly here and then they're going to fade out. And if I zoom in, or let's pull this back just a little bit, zoom back out, and we select the gradient ramp, what you'll notice is that there's a start and a end. And I can actually adjust where this is and where it ends. See? Now, that's all well and good, but that's not really giving me exactly what I want yet, right? So what I need to do is I need to go in and I need to tell my clouds that they are going to use this as a mask. And that's where this guy comes in. Track mask. And I want this little guy to use him. Now, if that's not kicking in, you just go in and say, oh, use the cloud mask LumaMat, which basically means all it's doing is it's looking for the luminance of that, of what I created, that gradient. And that's how it's adjusting it. So now, as I increase or decrease or adjust, you see I can adjust where my clouds are. And then I can adjust just a little bit of tweaking inside of here, whether I want it to be a linear ramp or do I want it to be a radial. Do I want to go all the way black? Do I want this to be bright? But this just gives me a mask that's just showing the clouds, which is kind of nice. Um, and then for my clouds in here, if I wanted to tweak it out, I could by adding stuff to it. But I think, let's turn this off for a second. Might be giving me what I want. This guy here, this is where we start to get into, oh, I could do this and I could do that. So this guy here, I could do a few things to as well. Let me go into that one so you can double click to go inside. And I'm thinking that the saturation for this, so how do I get to that, right? Let's go back to the composition. If you double click and you're like, where'd everything go? Double check these up here. But I'm thinking, let me select my house tint and then go to layer solid settings. And it's just a little too saturated for me. So I think I want to desaturate it a wee bit. Let's try that again. Desaturated but darker. Because I don't want it to be so obnoxious that it's see how it's changing. I want this to pop out and I want this to be a little creepy. So I'm just going back into that one composition, which will filter into the final composition. And I could even go in, let's say we go to that, the tint here, and we go to the mask of that tint. And I could feather it out if I wanted to. I could pull the expansion inward or outward. Oh, I like that better. So I'm just expanding it out and giving this little creepy glow around it. I like that. So I adjusted that just a little bit inside of the house composition. And now if I go back to the movie, there, I like that. And I don't want everything. Here's another thing. I don't want everything to be visible all at once. But let me just get in some of my other stuff. But literally, now I have enough I could start to play with. I've built all these pieces, these compositions that I can do cool stuff with. And I literally can go in now and say, you know what, maybe I want there to be a reveal for this. And let's get that sound in here also. Nice. I'm liking that. And if I want to add a little, I can do some stuff to this. So I'm going to color that. But we're getting this very cool little effect. And now let's get our other stuff in. I'm just going to drag my text up top. Now, mind you, I've not synced all this up to the sound yet, but let's take the I Ain't Afraid and pull that back to about 10 seconds. Oh, I'm digging this. Now, before it dies out, we are going to do a save as. Save this as a new version. Version 4. And then we'll go from there. But this is looking pretty cool. I'm digging it. I'm feeling a very Tim Burton-y kind of feel that we could start going towards. The next video, we will do even more.